Hello everyone, my name is the Emerald or Emerald for short, and today we're going to be doing something I should have done a week ago, but I put it off for a long while. That is the Honkai Star Rail 2.5 characters, the leaks anyway. I should note at the time of recording this, it is August 4th on a Sunday. So I'm a bit late, so we should actually be getting version 2 changes for these characters in the next day or so. So there's that. So some of this stuff might become relevant, we'll have to see. Hopefully not. Hopefully this video at least has some usage. So here are her mats she needs. If you notice, there's actually a new boss drop material, because it's not in game yet. But outside that, everything else you can pre-farm as of right now. So if you're playing this character, go and do that. So here are 8 launch is the art, really cool looking character. I'm curious to see how she plays overall. Should also note that animations and team comps, nothing along those lines are going to be shown here. If you wish to look at any of those, you can look it up on the internet, because it's everywhere on the internet now, like right now, because I was way too late to make this video. But yeah, anyway, we're moving on. So here are her stats. Honestly, pretty average until you get to the speed of 125. I thought this was a typo at first, but we haven't seen anything on. No one said anything, so it's like, oh, okay, base 125 speed. For reference, the highest base speed in the game is, I believe, Sela with 115. That's the highest without traces, I should mention. Sela has the highest base speed in the game with 115, so this beats it up by a whole 10 points, which is kind of crazy. So we went over the essential trace materials. Traces, she gets attack percentage, about 12% crit rate and 5 speed, so she gets up to 130 speed. So we'll come back to these other traces after we talk about the kit. So her skills, base attack is average. Her skill, War Axe, she does 1 damage to a single enemy, and then she advances her next action by a percentage, so I think about 10%, I would think, when level 10. The ultimate, this is where it's pretty interesting to say the least. Note, the point system is similar to Acheron, where it's not natural energy, it's points you have to get through a different method. So, ultimate Terra Split, which costs 6 Flying Warriors points, a max 12. Deal wind damage equal to 500 to 1008%, or double all those at level 12. A Feixiao attack to a single enemy, reducing its toughness regardless of weakness type. If the target is not weakness broken, Feixiao's weakness break efficiency increases by 100%. So, there's that. It's crazy. So she's going to break basically anyone. During the next attack, Feixiao first launches Bolt Thunder Blitz or War Axe skywards multiple times until Flying Auras is depleted. After that, she launches the final hit. For every point of Flying Auras consumed, deals wind damage equal to 6% up to max 12 of Feixiao's attack to the target. If the target is weakness broken, the damage multiplier increases by 9% up to 18%. Then from hit number 6 onward, if the target's HP is 0, reserves the remaining Flying Auras and launches the final hit immediately. So basically, if you kill the final enemy before you hit like your max point from 7 to 12, you actually save those points, which is really good. So Bolt Thunder Blitz, and War Axe Skyward do the same thing, but get damage increase based on different requirements. So they both do wind damage with a single enemy. So, and with Bolt Thunder Blitz, if the target enemy is weakness broken, you do extra damage, about 24% up to 48. And War Axe Skyward does the same thing, but if the target enemy is not weakness broken. So this ultimate is crazy. This is where a majority of damage is, and when you get it, you probably will kill anything. Talent, the ultimate can be activated when Flying Auras reaches 6 points, like Acheron, but cheaper, up to 12 points. Feixiao gains 1 point of Flying Auras for every 2 attacks used by allies. Attacks from Feixiao's ultimates are not counted. After other teammates use an attack, Feixiao launches follow-up attacks against the primary target, deals wind damage equal to 100% or 250% of Feixiao attack. If no primary target is available to attack, Feixiao attacks a single random enemy instead. This effect can only trigger 1 time per turn, and the trigger count is reset at the start of Feixiao's turn, which is pretty cool. Their technique, which I find very funny. After using technique, this character enters the onrush state, lasts for 20 seconds. While in this onrush state, this character pulls in enemies within a certain range, increases speed by 35%, and receives 1 point of Flying Auras after entering battle. Active attacks in the onrush state will strike all pulled enemies and enter combat. After entering battle, deal wind damage equal to 200% of Feixiao attack to all enemies start of each wave. This damage is guaranteed to crit, and when more than 1 enemy is pulled in, increase the multiplier of this damage by 100% for each additional enemy pulled in, up to an increase of 1000%. let's be real, you are, in most cases, like where it matters, you probably won't be getting this a lot, but hey, it's funny. Now backtracking to the traces. Heaven Path, you receive 4 points flying Aureus at the start of the battle, so you will already be basically right next to your ultimate when you show up. And if there are no teammates active in battle on the field at the start of the turn, receive 1 point of flying Aureus. So you get to pop your ultimate a little faster. Form Shift, when dealing damage to enemy targets via launch this unit's ultimate, it'll be considered as launching a follow-up attack. This matters for things like that proc when follow-up attack necessary, so like Topaz, Adventuring, the Duran set, things like that. And here's where it helps out. Bolt Catch, follow-up attack crit damage increased by 60%. So you're going to do extra crit damage on the ultimate, which is pretty powerful. And then next we're going to be talking about the Eidolons. E1, when using ultimate for each point of flying Aureus consumed, the final hit additionally deals wind damage equal to 30% Feixiao attack to a random enemy. So, casual. So it allows to do a little bit of extra damage to random enemies, though honestly this is a very low multiplier. Move where I wished, E2, which I think is the best Eidolon so far. In talent effect, attack count required to gain flying Aureus reduces by 1 count. So remember that the talent required you to use 2 ally attacks to get 1 point. With E2, you only need 1 extra attack to get it, so you'll get your ultimate twice as fast, which is really good. E4, Storm Word I Hear, when basic attack or skill deals damage to an enemy target, it'll be considered as follow-up attacks, which is honestly whatever in my opinion. In most cases, this is not going to matter too much, unless you want that extra damage. But for E4, it's very expensive. And Homeward I Near with E6, increase follow-up attacks, wind resistance penetration by 20%, increase the damage multiplied by the talent's follow-up attack by 360%, and damage dealt is considered as ultimate damage. So your follow-up attack does the extra damage, which is pretty interesting to say the least. So overall, E2 is probably the one if you don't have the natural follow-up attack team, E2 is the one to shoot for, but E2 is already strong as it is, so. And here's our 5-star light cone. The I venture forth to hunt, which is, yeah, it kind of works out. So here are the materials. And the effect, intimidation, increase the wearer's crit rate by 15% up to the max 25. When any single ally uses an attack, the wearer gains 1 stack of Lumen Flux to a max 6 stacks. Each stack of Lumen Flux enables the ultimate damage dealt by the wearer to ignore 9% up to 13% of the target's defense, and this effect will be dispelled after the wearer uses the ultimate. So this basically allows to ignore 54% of the enemy's defense when you pop the ult. So pretty interesting at least. So that's it for Feixiao. Overall, a really strong character, and I think she probably will be one of, if not the best DPS in the game when she comes out. So there's that. Next up, Lingsha, this game's next abundance character, 5-star fire abundance, which is really interesting because we already had Gallagher vibing and now we have this. So with Lingsha, you can actually pre-farm everything except for the weekly mat. There is a weekly boss coming in 2.5 that you have to farm, so you can't get everything, but you can get everything else. So there's that. Here, Eidolons, I really like E4. I think it's really adorable. So there's that. There's hammering going on. I hope you don't hear that. So, Lingsha, 5-star fire abundance, pretty average stats honestly. This character's pretty interesting in my opinion, based on what she does. So traces, she gets break effect, HP attack. We'll come back to this after we go through everything. Her skills, base attack is average. Her skill deals fire damage equal to 40% or 100% at max of Lingsha attack on enemies, which is HP equal to 10% of her attack with max 16, plus an additional 105 up to 538 for our allies, and action advances Fuyuan by 20%. We'll talk about that when we get to the talent. The ultimate Dripping Mistcape, it costs 110 energy, inflicts Befalgo enemies, and when in the Befalgo state, break damage taken by affected enemies increases by 50% up to max of 30, lasts for 2 turns. Deal fire damage equal to 75% or up to 0.87% of Lingsha's attack to all enemies, and at the same time restore HP equal to 8% or max 40% of Lingsha's attack plus 90 or 461 for our allies. So it heals less than the skill, but considering it's an ultimate, we take those. And then action advances Fuyuan by 100%, so that's going to be the next action. So, talent here is Mistdance Manifest. Summons Fuyuan when using the skill. Fuyuan has an initial speed of 80 and an initial action count of 3. During Furyuan's action, launch follow-up attack on all enemies, dealing fire damage equal to 45% or 112% of Lingsha attack. Dispels 1 deal from all allies and restores HP equal to 8% or 40% of Lingsha attack plus 90 or 41, which I think is, yeah, the exact same as the ultimate. So there's that. So when you use the ultimate, you'll heal double, like, which is pretty cool. Furyuan can accumulate a max of 5 action counts, and when the action count reaches 0, when Lingsha is down, Furyuan disappears. While Furyuan is present on the battlefield, using Lingsha's skill increases Furyuan action count by 3. So there should be no reason you spam the skill unless the enemy is really doing that much damage to you, in which case you should probably reconsider the team. Technique, Wisdom's Aurora. After using the technique, it immediately summons Furyuan at the start of the next battle and inflicts Befog on enemies lasting for 2 turns. So the Befog, remember, increases the break damage taken by enemies, so it's pretty free in my opinion. So Eidolon's E1, Bloom of Vile or Bouquet. Lingsha's weakness break efficiency increased by 50%, and when the enemy's weakness is broken, reduce defense by 20%, which is really powerful, if you ask me. E2, Leisure and Carmine Smoke Veil. When using the ultimate, all allies' break effect increased by 40%, lasts for 3 turns, which is also really good. This is really good for Firefly. If you haven't noticed, this is a Firefly support. E4, Redolence from Canopied Banquet. During Furyuan's action, restores HP equal to 40% of Lingsha's attack for the ally with the currently lowest HP percentage, which honestly I think is a little overkill because you are going to be getting a lot of healing. We will see when we go back to the talent traces. Arcadia under Deep Seclusion, which is an E6. While Furyuan is present on the battlefield, all enemies' all-type resistance reduces by 20%. Furyuan's attack additionally deals 3 hits of damage, with each hit dealing 5 damage equal to 50% of Lingsha's attack and 5 tons of reduction. Honestly, the E6 is whatever if you ask me. I don't think it's really necessary for what this character is doing. So there's that. I also wish she had some ways of getting energy off of E6 or something, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. Now going back to the traces. Vermilion Waft increases unit's attack / outgoing healing, by an amount equal to 20% or /8% of the break effect up to max attack / outgoing healing increase of 50% / 20%. I hit my mic if you didn't know. So you need, if I remember correctly, you need roughly about a 250% break effect to get max, but honestly you don't really need that high of break effect. So maybe like 230, 240 is pretty nice. And that should be pretty easy with how much break effect you're getting from everything. Sylvan Smoke, when using base attack, additionally generates 10 energy, which is nice, not too bad. Ember's Echo, when any ally takes damage or consumes HP, so Firefly, if their current HP percentage is less than or equal to 6%, Furyuan will immediately trigger the follow-up attack from the talent. This attack will not consume Furyuan's action and can be triggered after 2 turns. So it's pretty helpful. That's just a pretty nice way of just helping out to heal the team, which is nice. So there's that. Overall, this character is a nice healer. Here is her 5-star light cone. It looks really nice. And this is Furyuan, by the way. That's what she summons. And then Scent Alone stays true. Here are the materials. And then Contentment increases Wearer's break effect by 60% up to 100% with maxed out. After Wearer attacks an enemy with an ultimate, causes them to enter the woe-free state. The woe-free state for 2 turns. During the woe-free state, increases damage dealt to enemy targets by 10%, 80% S5, and the wearer's current break effect is greater than equal to 150, which, knowing how much you need for her one of her talents or test traces, yeah, you will probably be getting that. Additionally, increases damage received effect by 8%. So it increases this damage increase effect. They reworded it like pretty fast, which honestly is not really necessary, but this is that. Overall, really good healing character. You can use her for Firefly. I think that is her best support. And yeah, overall, it's pretty solid. Next, we're going to talk about probably the weakest of the characters, Moze. That's how they say it, and I'm probably going to say Moze just to simplify it, but it's pronounced Moze, which is kind of weird. Well, you probably already recognize this character for the let's just say not so stellar drama / controversy a couple weeks ago. We'll ignore it for now. We ignore it for now. But yeah, you probably recognize him from the drama. Regardless, that's not what we're talking about here. We're going to talk about the kit. So Moze is a 4-star Lightning Hunt. So our first Lightning Hunt character, unfortunately, he's not too great. Here is Matt. You need both a new boss and a new weekly drop. So you can barely do it. You can only really get this material, but if you're playing in Feixiao, you got a lot of work to do. He takes the exact same match as Feixiao outside of the boss drop and the weekly, which is crazy. Here's Eidolon's. E3 is pretty cool with the mask, but outside of that, whatever. So, Moze, whatever I'm calling, 4-star Lady Hunt. Here's stats. Honestly, 114 speed is not bad for this kind of character, which we take. Traces, he gets crit damage, attack, HP. We'll come back to these a little bit later. We'll get through this pretty quickly. Base attack, average. Skill, Fleet Wings Raid. You mark or designate a single enemy target as the prey and deal lightning damage equal to a percentage of his attack to it. And when there are other characters in the field and that are capable of combat, those cannot use a skill and dispels the enemy's prey state. So basically, if he's the last one alive, he becomes worthless. But probably if that's the case, you probably already restarted. So ultimate, gash in, gash out, 110 energy, which is a lot for an ultimate 4-star. Increase damage dealt by this character by 30%, max 60%, lasts for 2 turns, and deals lightning damage equal to 210% or 420% max of Moze's attack to a single target enemy. It's pretty tight. The problem is he's a 4-star, so he has really low stats. So, talent, cast King Featherblade. Moze will enter the departed state while prey exists on the field. This is exactly why he can't use skill. The skill will apply prey and he will just disappear, and so he won't be on field to do any damage. So there's that. After allies attack the prey, Moze will deal 1 instance of additional lightning damage equal to 50% or 37% of his attack and gains 1 charge. When Moze's charge reaches 7 points, consume all charges to launch 1 follow-up attack to the prey, dealing lightning damage equal to 100% or 50% max of Moze's attack and dispels the target's prey state. We'll talk about this after this. Technique, Faded Wings. After using his technique, Moze gains stealth for 20 seconds, and while stealth is active, Moze cannot be detected by enemies. Action advances by 50% and increases the damage Moze deals by 30% when he enters combat by attacking enemies while in stealth mode, lasting for a turn. Average technique, honestly. Pretty average. Outside of the action effect, that's about it. And then Eidolon's E1, Oathkeeper. When this character deals damage with his ultimate, is considered as having launched a follow-up attack, and increases follow-up attack damage taken by enemy marked as prey by 25%. E2, Wrathbearer. After entering battle, Moze generates 20 points of energy. For every time the additional damage from his talent is triggered, Moze generates 3 points of energy. Pretty nice. E4, Heath Prowler. The crit damage boost effect of the Avenge Voice additionally increased by 20%. We'll talk about this when we get to the traces. And E6, after using the ultimate to attack an enemy target, Moze will immediately launch the follow-up attack from talent against his target. If the target is defeated before his follow-up attack is used, then activate the follow-up attack against a random single enemy. That's whatever. And then we'll go back to traces real quick. Night Feather, recover 1 skill point after using a follow-up attack. This effect can be triggered again after 1 turn, which is kind of stupid, if you ask me. This is mainly to prevent this E6. Oh, sorry, not E6, the E1. So he'll launch follow-up attack, get that. But if you get E6, it also screws over that. So they have to change that, I think. I don't know. I guess they think it's way too good, even though theoretically speaking, with him gone, you can make it skill point positive, honestly. We'll talk about all the problems. Dagger Hold. Moze's action is advanced forward by 30% when his departed status is dispelled. Edit Moze's current charge equals 4 or greater, then his action will instead be advanced forward by 60%. So that's cool, I guess. And Avenge-wise, this is what we were talking about with the other one. When ally attacks an enemy marked as prey, increase the crit damage dealt by 20%. With E4, that goes to 40%. This character is the epitome of mid. The biggest problem is he's trying to be a DPS character when he just can't. He just doesn't have that capability of doing the damage, honestly, from everything that I'm seeing. The multiplier is too low, and there's no way for him to get these 7 points faster, honestly. Which is really obnoxious. You have to run on follow-up attack, and I think he's super on follow-up attack, right? Because Topaz is just a better version, and you're probably running Feixiao, Topaz, and Adventuring, and honestly, at that point, you would just run a support. Why run another follow-up attack enemy? You just run a support and call it a day. There's just a lot. This character's just not that great. I think in most cases, I don't see a good use for him unless you don't have a good follow-up attack team. But the makeshift follow-up attack team with this guy is not great either. So yeah. Here's his leg cone. It's really cool looking. 4-star, the hunt, shot up by night, and it's super mid. Increase the warrior's break effect by 20% up to 56% at S5. Upon entering battle or dealing break damage, increase speed by 8%, lasts for 2 turns. This effect only be triggered 1 time per turn. The character is not doing break, and he has no way of doing just like good break damage. So why on earth is it a break? This is only really good for Boot Hill. This is a Boot Hill Lycon. That's what this is. This is kind of like when they dropped the Hunt March Lycon that's coming out soon. Oops, that's my game. I'll just leave it in the recording. I don't care. Which I just find super weird. I don't really get it. It's just kind of off-putting, honestly, and it's just like, it's not even good for him. He's a crit-based character who is not really doing that job well because he's a 4-star and he has low stats. So the biggest problem is the fall attack. This is where he's supposed to do most of his damage outside of the ultimate, and he just doesn't get fast enough. He just doesn't. 7 points is way too many points, especially if you're not. It's either you're running him on like. You have to run him on like with Topaz Adventure, but at that point you probably have Feixiao. You're better off just using Feixiao, which is better. I don't know. I think this character is super iffy, and I haven't really seen much good like team comp with him because Feixiao is just better than he is. He honestly just should have just been a support. Honestly, he should have just been a supporting character instead of trying to be a DPS. Well, that's all there is to that. I mean, if you use him, you could use Izumo if you're into that kind of thing. But honestly, Duran's better for most characters at this point, so so yeah. And some other stuff that we have 2 new Planar Ornament sets. There's this one, the Wondrous Banana Amusement Park, which I like a lot. It's of its 2-piece. It increases the wearer's crit damage by 60%, and when a target summoned by the wearers on the field, crit damage additionally increased by 20%. People were assuming this was for Feixiao, but Feixiao doesn't summon anything, so as of right now, we don't know who this is used for. As of right now, they're probably setting this up for someone down the line, because the only thing that's people summon this is good for, I guess, Jingyuan summons the thing, so there's that. There, I guess, is Firefly, but she's not crit based, so I don't know. Right now, this is kind of like an iffy thing right now. And this one, Shaka the Socrates, which actually is pretty solid. Increase the wearer's effect resistance by 10%, so a pretty solid support. And the wearer is not the first character in the team lineup, then increase the attack of the first character in the team lineup by 60%. So this is already just supporting anyone in the first lineup. It's pretty interesting that we're now looking into how you position your characters. This was something that honestly wasn't talked about ever since like the very beginning of the game, right? Where it's like, oh, you want the max energy, put your destruction, put your like your tank character in like the mid, like in like second or third slot, so everyone gets energy for like blast attacks or AoEs. Kind of funny. So there's that. Honestly, I'd say only really problem is for characters like Gallagher, your supports, things like that. And you can actually stack this, so that's pretty cool. So if you want to run hyper carry, there you go. This will give you about like it's I think a 48% attack increase for the person in the first slot, which is pretty solid. So that's it. Overall, Feixiao and Lingsha look really solid. I think Feixiao is probably going to be inarguably top 3 DPSs, arguably best. We'll have to see how she performs in the meta. And Lingsha is a really nice healer overall, but honestly not mandatory, considering that she's just trying to be a better Luocha, which, I mean, she already does, right? She has better healing and AoE debuff the spell, which is pretty solid. So, and we'll talk about Moze. Moze he belongs in the shadows. He goes in the shadows, and that's where he belongs. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know who you're gonna be selling for down in the comments. And yeah, that's it. I hope if you pulling for any of these characters, I hope you get them. And I wish you the best of luck in 2.4 as of right now with Yun Li, Ho Ho, Jiao Cho, and Sparkle, and what 2.5 brings in the future. So, yep, I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.